Welcome to another hideous episode of the apocalypse. If you perhaps have taken note of the thumbnail, 3 soldiers standing by the reflecting pool. Only 3 soldiers. Donnie posted that. Again, a window into his psyche. These are not mere events. You see, Donnie is living his dream right now. And he's building it to where it needs to be for him to be happy. Or to reach his goal, let's put it that way. He could never actually be happy. That thumbnail. The District of Columbia under military occupation, under his rule. A Reich. The Fourth Reich. You see, our dream, we simply want to have a nice life, have enough money to, have a little extra, a decent paying job, freedom, comfort, security, freedom, again, foremost, number one desire of the population. That is our dream. So when you look at that picture and you wonder why does he post such things? Because Donnie's fucking dream is to be Adolf Hitler. That's why. He's living his dream. He's enjoying it. He's building what he wants to build. A Reich. Evil. Him as king of the fucking world. DC under military occupation again. He's showing you his dream, what he's dreamt of his entire life. Living right now. That is why he posts such things, and you do not. So much for the goddamn peace treaty in France, huh? Following the UAE's nationwide missile threat alert, with explosions heard in Dubai minutes ago, initial reports indicate at least one vessel was hit near the Strait of Hormuz after 2 ships violated the IRGC Navy route orders and docked off Dubai ports. This is the second attack on vessels in 24 hours. After Iran's IRGC attacked the Singapore-flagged cargo ship in the southern corridor following Iran's warning. So, some ships misbehaved and Iran attacked them. Why? Because Iran runs shit in the Middle East now. Because Donnie made them a superpower. And all Donnie can do is bomb some facility after they do something like this. And we just stay in the same place we've been since the beginning. No progress. Just back to the beginning, over and over and over and over. And back to war. So much for the monumental peace deal in France, or shall I say, the surrender signing in Versailles for the second time. And that would be America surrendering. Because we're a goddamn joke now, thanks to Rubes, greedy at the top, and their cult leader, Donny Shitbags, who they all thought would make all their dreams come true. Well, they all know he's a liar, a conman, a rapist, a pedophile of Satan purely. They do not care. He serves their purposes. For the Rube, he serves their need for hate above their own success. He is the instrument that provides that satisfaction for them. For the rich and greedy, they thought they would get richer and greedier and fatter from Donny. And every major corporation is fighting to be the one in control of the surveillance police dystopian state that they want forever. Little do they know it will bankrupt the entire Earth. It already has. It will increase the climate deterioration. It already has, and they're building more. Why would that slow them down? And it will be their ruin and ours. Congratulations, greedy at the top. You've ruined the Earth. I know your future. And mine. The military has restored flu vaccination requirements amid an outbreak that has sickened hundreds of service members. Now, you wouldn't see this announced on Fox News. When they took the flu requirement away, you would see that on Fox News, for that pleases morons who have voted for their own destruction and the destruction of the world. And I promise that to you. Why? Because you chose it. That's bloody why. Not me. You. You know who you are. You have chosen the apocalypse. Literally. This is not drama here. Don't let the British accent fool you, son. I'm only here because you've chosen the end. Literally. Not a game, not a joke. Your future's over. Why? Because you've chosen it. Only reason you're seeing me here, as censored as I bloody am. Otherwise, I would not be here. That may mean nothing to you. For you know not what comes next. I knew for many decades. I did not know you had to choose it, though. Now I know. I did not know who it would be if it came in my lifetime. Now I know. And once I realized it was him, not who it would be, who he is. The title, Antichrist. Can you believe I bloody worked for the man? When he owned a casino, years ago. So again, I was more shocked than you. The one man I worked for, right out of high school. I never met him again, that's not the point. The point is, I worked at a business owned by the Antichrist. And I did not know. I was a young, stupid man. No one knew yet. And my God, when I realized it was him, I just kept saying over and over, Donny Shitbags? The one I worked for? The whiny real estate con man? Who files bankruptcy on contractors left and right or sues them and cries on television when Steve Wynn gets some free land? It's him? And human beings are taking him seriously. He's run before. Everyone just cracked jokes about it. Oh, but then a black guy was elected. Now it all makes sense. And that fucked people up for the rest of their existence on this planet, a percentage of this country. And they don't even know it, son. Let Daddy tell you a secret. They don't even know it's within them. What am I talking about, child? The desire to burn it all down. The desire to ruin it all. For everyone and themselves. They don't even know it's inside them, son. How do I know it's inside them? They chose ruin. They chose the end of everything, their futures, their children's futures, everything. You have to want that, son, on some level. For even the blind could see it. That Donnie was ruin, lies, and abomination. From 2015 on. Even before he got the keys the first time. He made it quite clear and obvious. But that desire inside you that you don't even know is there. To ruin the future of the human race. To end yourselves, your empire. To throw all your treasure in the bloody fire. To throw your soul in the fire. Your country in the fire. Your planet in the fire. That desire is within you all. Every single human that ever voted for him or sees anything good in him. You are not aware enough within yourself to know it's there. I know you better than yourself. Or I should say, I know you better than you know yourself. Waves of zombies. That's all I see. So deep down, on some level, you don't understand. You wanted to burn it all down. And now you've done it. For again, I know your future, and all I see, son, is bloody fire. And death. And ruin. So on some level, son, you must have wanted it. Well, you got it. Well done. So again, with this, Pete didn't want to be woke. So he canceled the flu shots for the military. You didn't have to. It's optional. And no one likes getting a shot, my God. So people stopped getting them. Well, then there was a flu outbreak. To the point, the ignorant, stupid, stubborn Pete Hegseth in full makeup had to rescind and go back to original policy. That's how bad the outbreak was. So obviously, if even the MAGA elite at the top, Donnie and Pete Hegseth, say, okay, we've got to reinstitute the vaccine thing. It's a game for the rubes, but we can't have the entire military with the flu. So obviously the flu vaccine has some impact. I never get them personally, but, I'm not in the military in a barracks full of men in close quarters. It's a bit different. So you'll never see this again on Fox News, but literally, Pete ended the requirement to get the flu vaccine for soldiers. They stopped getting it, and a huge outbreak took place to the point Pete had to reinstitute, well, now it's mandatory. Again, you must get the vaccine. Do with that what you will, vaccine deniers. 6 earthquakes in 24 hours and abnormal record-breaking temperatures across Europe. Yeah. We've crossed a threshold I told you before. There's no fixing it. Do you see them cutting back oil production, making less gas cars? Do you see less electric output or more overall? We have 5,000 data centers in this country, on top of the nuclear power plants and other industry that require millions of gallons of water and electricity. And they're building them all across the world now. They've accelerated it in Europe now. It began here. Have them all over China, everywhere. And they're building more. What I'm trying to say is consumption of everything is going up massively. There isn't a slowdown in the slightest. In fact, they put their foot on the gas pedal straight to the floor. We're already past the point of no return with the climate. Little children, I know you don't know that yet. You will. Even if we stopped everything right now, it would probably take hundreds of years for it to remotely correct itself. And there's no bloody chance in Hades the human race will stop everything right now. Zuck needs a new yacht. Bezos needs a new rocket. And of course you'll bloody pay for it. Always, son. We're fucked. Climately alone. Let alone Antichrist in World War III. We're fucked that way too. Does this Iran thing seem like it's going to stop anytime soon? No, it does not. Which means it will get out of control at some point. Someone will do something crazy. When Christ said earthquakes in diverse places when the apostles asked him about end times, maybe that's what he meant, that they'd all happen in the same day, across the world from each other, illogically, all at once. Maybe that's what he meant by diverse places. Not one in Iran 1 week, one in America the next. Nope. 3 or 4 in a day. Across the world. Again, that makes me take notice. This heat in Europe, my God. We have crossed the threshold and there's no fixing it again. We're going 100 miles an hour towards a wall. And we're not slowing down in the slightest. We're going faster even. We're already past the point of no return. And we're going faster. Just regarding climate alone, we are fucked in the next 10 years. Not 2100, not 2050. They've said that for so long. 2100, 2200, 2150, 2050. Oh no, son, it's much worse than that. In 10 years, it will be unbearable. I don't think we have 10 years left, though, honestly. It's accelerating. And the building is accelerating. And the warfare. And the water and electric consumption. That means faster climate deterioration than already has been. When we're already past the point of no return. We don't have till 2050 regarding the climate. If we have till 2030, I'd be surprised. That is how dire it is. Do not forget that. Large earthquakes today from Volcaholic. 5.7 in Japan, Eastern Honshu. 5.2 in Nicaragua, 6.5 in the Philippines. 4.4 in Venezuela. There are about 50,000 names reported missing after that earthquake. There are about 600 dead so far that they've found. They were trying to get people out of rubble that are buried all over the country. But the US sanctions would not allow any heavy equipment to be sold to that country. So they don't have that. Other countries have tried to volunteer it. The rebel leader and her people have tried to send food and other things and help. The president of the country, the regime opposite the rebels, will not let the rebels help the people, will not let other countries help the people. Do you know how many thousands will die because of that? They had a brief window of roughly a few days to dig these people out of the rubble, and there are many. That was now wasted because the regime wanted to make a point. You know, the one Donnie left in place. Because all he wanted was the bloody oil. And he got it. I know, when Donnie and Pete and Stephen Miller and all of them we're talking annexation in bloody January of 25. You didn't believe they would actually do any of it. I told you they would. And they did. Pay attention, Greenland, Canada, etc. You're next. Cuba, you're next. John Bolton, former Trump advisor, pleads guilty in classified info case. I was like, oh my God, he got Bolton. Now, if you're upset about anything Mr. Bolton did, not that I'm a fan of his, I know Donnie doesn't like it. If you're upset with anything Mr. Bolton did with classified documents or information, did you know there's a fat orange pedophile that stole 3,000 classified documents from the government and stored them in the shitter of their shitty golf club in Florida? Did you know that? Since we're on the subject, so if you're upset with Mr. Bolton and you think he should be punished for whatever mishandling of classified information he's guilty of, I heard he told something to his wife he wasn't supposed to. Whatever he's guilty of, if you're concerned with that, if that bothers you, if you're clapping like a seal because he'll go to prison for a month, whatever will happen to him. Again, there's this fat orange pedophile that stole 3,000 documents, son. And I guarantee he distributed those to someone. Where is his jail sentence? Where is his indictment? Where is his trial? Why is he not in goddamn fucking prison? Because if you or I stole 3,000 classified documents, we'd be executed by bloody firing squad. So again, I don't see this as any victory. It's just someone on the revenge list. That's all this is. By the guy who stole 3,000 classified documents and stored them in the bathroom at a golf club. So if anyone should be in the headlines for mishandling classified information or documents, it should be the fat fucking orange pedophile, shouldn't it? His crimes were much more severe. So if you're clapping for Mr. Bolton getting in trouble here, and you don't want Donnie to get in trouble for what he did, you're a goddamn hypocrite, and that's why your country's over, son. I'm going to take a break for a moment. Oh, the poor Russians. I keep seeing young Russian women in gas lines. And they got about 8 kids in the car. They look like they're about 23 years old. Husband, no goddamn where to be found because he probably went to the front. And they just don't know what to do, son. But you know what I noticed about a lot of them? They managed to make their lip filler appointment. So at least their lips will look good in the hysterical videos on the side of the road where they're begging for their husband or someone to come fucking help them. Okay. This is a video of a Russian woman on the side of the road who got her lips done, and she's perfectly groomed, and she got, I don't know how many kids in the back. And inside Russia and outside of Russia, in the Ukrainian areas that they've taken over the years, Crimea being one of them, there's no gas. Because Ukraine has been hitting oil refineries for years. And it's taken a toll. And now Ukraine's at the point where Russia basically has no air defense. I just watched a video yesterday of a Ukrainian drone just flying freely through Moscow. Nothing shooting at it. So normal life for Russians now is, Ukrainian drone is like seagull. That's how common they're going to be. They're already almost that common now. Ukraine is winning the war right now. Vlad back on his heels. His main revenue source, his main empire, oil. There's a joke on the internet that Russia is a giant gas station posing as a country. Now they ain't even a giant gas station. They have to import. Because all their shit got hit. Because Vlad wants to take over the world. Wants the old Soviet Union back. I told you that a decade ago. And he stole all the money. Russia's using old weapons, untrained soldiers, again, emptying the prisons, throwing bodies at it, what Russia has always done in every war they've ever fought. They've never changed. Just a different oligarch at the top stealing it all. That's why Russia's been a joke its entire existence. That's why it's fucking miserable there. You ever see what apartment complexes look like in Russia? A good portion of the country, doesn't even have a toilet. They're still shitting in outhouses. A lot of them don't have electricity. It's a third world country posing as a first world nation. All that shit you saw over the years in the 80s, that they were somehow equal to us in military power, what a goddamn joke that all was. They can't even beat Ukraine, son. And again, the movie The Good Shepherd, when they captured the Russian agent was defecting. Someone defected in his place before he got a chance to and pretended to be him. So when the real Russian agent showed up to the CIA and said, I want to defect, they treated him like he was a liar because they've been working with a different guy under his name for months. They'd look real goddamn stupid, wouldn't they? Because they would have been working with a double agent who's loyal to Russia. Working with him. Treating him privileged. Giving him a house, money. Listening to his intelligence. Believing it. The CIA. So the real defector comes along. They strap him to a chair, beat the fuck out of him, put him on LSD. Until he admits he's not him, and he won't admit it. No, I'm him. That other guy's an imposter. He's not me. He's not the real guy. So they kept beating him and drugging him up, and eventually he blurts out shit. He said, basically, I'll paraphrase, Russia's an illusion. It's all rust and dirt. In other words, the money and wealth of the nation has all been stolen. What you see with the military parades and the nuclear weapon boasts and the military boasts is a complete facade. All the money has been stolen. Nothing invested in infrastructure or the military. That's where we at. That's why Vlad lost. There's one way to turn this around that I've been worried about for 10 years. Since it began. Because I know Donnie is Vlad's bitch. Everyone knows this. America joins Russia and fights Ukraine. Only way to turn this. I just don't know if I can see Donnie and Vlad just letting Zelensky win this thing. Because again, Donnie's Vlad's bitch. And we don't help Ukraine anymore. And they win it. Regardless. And our military's getting weaker by the fucking second. We just lost to Iran. And Donnie ain't done his world takeover, so weapons stockpile gonna get depleted. Oil reserves gonna get depleted. They already are. Lower than they ever been. Again, a weakened, vulnerable America ripe for attack. That's where we going. Donnie doing what Vlad did here. Again, why I was so seriously begging you rich people not to fucking do this. Telling you, do you want your country to be Russia? The oligarchy. Do you think you're able to take on people like Vlad, that style of government, if you want to call it that? Mob rule. Do you think you're man enough? I don't think any of you man enough. That's what I was trying to tell you. In fact, you all knelt at his feet and laid tribute down immediately, and you've been doing it ever since. So you see Russia at a point where it can't even defeat Ukraine. They're about to get defeated themselves, Russia. We just lost to Iran. Our treasury's being looted. Fort Knox has been looted. Leon just looted your 401ks and retirements. Donnie is grifting every nickel he can out the treasury. He'll never stop. Our country is going the way of Russia. That's why I was begging you not to do it. And again, Vlad stole Google's $100 million straight out their bank account. I believe is in 2022. They had to close up shop in Russia. And that's one of the examples I gave. You can't do business like that. You can't run a country like that. It doesn't work. You end up with a third world facade like Russia. And you end up like this woman on the side of the road with your kids, no husband, because he went to the front of whatever war the dictator's fighting. And we got our own dictator, son. We fighting wars all over the place. And there's no gasoline because the weaker enemy bombed up all your oil infrastructure. When you're one of the major energy exporters for the world, Russia. And they got to import. It's that bad. They got lines at gas stations for days. I've seen video after video of women and people like this. Can you imagine waiting in gas for a day and a half? Or 2 days in a line? And your car runs out of gas. And your battery goes dead. And then your key fob battery goes dead. That's what this woman was crying about. She was waiting for gas for over a day. Her car ran out of gas. Her battery died. She has a kid or 2 or 3 in the car. Then her key fob died. You can't do nothing with your car when the key fob's dead. A lot of cars anyway. This one, I think you can touch the power button or something and it might still work. But you have to have the key fob. You have to touch it to the power button. I actually lost my key the other day. Car wouldn't do jack shit. I didn't realize I lost the key. I shut the car off. Car does nothing. Like, motherfucker. Luckily, I remembered where it should be, and it was close by. So I went for a walk to go get my key. Russians continue to descend into insanity amid out. Yeah, she was just maniacal on camera. Can you imagine? You'd be too. You got your kids in the back. You've been waiting for gas for a day in your car. You're miserable as fuck. Then your car dies. Out of gas. Battery dead. Probably an hour or two later because you're running it on battery after that. And then your fob thing. And she's in the midst of her screaming and crying. She's yelling about the key fob, and her husband's not there to help her. And her husband doesn't know. Nobody, every man that tries to help her, no one knows how to open the key and replace the battery. She's losing her mind on camera. And, you know, we can laugh at this, but don't laugh too hard, son, because guess where it's coming next? Right fucking here. Donnie and the boys doing the same thing that Vlad and the boys did over there and all the Russian leaders before him. Russia always been like that. In America, we did at one point invest and build this thing up because there was nothing here at first. And we built up that military. We invested just ridiculous amounts of money. In other words, American capitalism did invest some of the money into things at first. Now it's being all extracted by the tech bros and the thieves, Donnie and his friends. Every bit of wealth this country's ever made being extracted. Infrastructure is not being invested in. The military is not being invested in like it was. A lot of that money will be pocketed by Donnie, I'm sure, the $1.5 trillion. That's what Vlad does. Pockets the wealth of the nation. That's why his citizens are sitting in gas lines for 2 days and their cars are running out of gas. That's what happens when you give the keys to a lying, murdering, raping thief like Donnie or Vlad. Nothing gets invested. Your country declines at the speed of light. And you might end up in gas lines for 2 days. With no man to help you because your man's at the front of Iran or whatever, you know, World War III is going on. That's what I was begging you not to do. Told you, rich people, you're going to lose your companies, you're going to lose this, you're going to lose that, he's going to milk you dry, you're going to keep knocking on your door. I said all these things on my 40 Views censorship channel. That's our future. This Russian woman right here. Same thing's happening here. You gave mobsters the keys. They're going to steal it all, son. They've stolen most of it already. She ain't the only one. There's video after fucking video of Russians flipping the fuck out. They don't know what to do. Trump said in March that he would pay for the new black granite in the West Colonnade, but that wasn't true. The National Park Service was billed $1.3 million for the project. Donnie stole another $1.3 million for renovations, and I'm sure he got a nice kickback on that too, because every renovation is partly an opportunity to grift. Every single one. You think that paint job really cost $14 million? Or you think Carafufo, the ex-mobster fucking whatever the fuck, he's got mob written all the fuck over him. The guy that got the contract for that reflecting pool. Do you think him and Donnie really spent the $14 million on the blue paint from Walmart? Or do you think they pocketed most of it? I'm thinking they pocketed most of it. I'm thinking Donnie pocketed some of this. Because that's what Donnie fucking does. It's your money, son. Why not? Skim a little off the top. Like 70%. You know what I'm saying? 30 go to the project, 70 for me. Not kidding in the goddamn slightest, son. You think that blue paint costs $14 million? Dumbass. Shit. That's your money, by the way. That 1 point whatever, 3 million that he just stole. On top of the billions he stole before. Heat records broken in Germany as well. 41C. I don't know what that is in American. Let's put it that way. Fahrenheit. I would have to look it up and I don't feel like it. Records in Germany, in France, all across Europe by the day. In June. Venezuela earthquake. The confirmed death toll has reached 589 with 2,980 people injured. A website set up for families to report missing loved ones had around 50,000 names listed by Friday morning. That's how bad that shit is. And no, the help is not coming fast at all. So those death numbers are going to go way the fuck up. Does God have a grudge against that country because he sent the Antichrist after it, stole their oil, their leader got kidnapped, his wife, they're killing people in boats down there still, 80 people they killed when they invaded, now they get earthquakes and 50,000 probably dead? Jesus. What did Venezuela do, Lord? The Islamic Republic of Iran shot at least 4 one-way attack drones at ships traversing the strait. One of the drones solidly hit the upper deck of a large and very expensive cargo-carrying ship. Damage was done, but the ship was able to proceed on its way. We knocked down 3 other drones. Obviously, this is a foolish violation of our ceasefire agreement, President Fuckface Pedophile. That's on the True Social Money Laundering. Aaron Rupar translated it for me. So again, so much for Versailles, right? Oh, this is in the closet, Mikey Johnson. Couldn't be more obvious. And he said one interesting thing today that really, again, it's a window into this movement's psyche. Movement of Satan and the Reich. Over half of Democrats say they want to live in another country. Go. We can't deport that many. That is a direct window into what they've been thinking for years and where we're at right now. What they've been thinking for years, how do we take citizenship away from dumbass American citizens and ship them to Eswatini, whatever the fuck we feel like? How do we get there? Russell? Stephen? Satan, how do we get there? This is the mentality of the movement, and Mikey Johnson in the closet just proved it. We can't deport that many. Well, why would you say that about American citizens? Deportation. Oh, because that was your intention the entire time. What did Donnie say when Mr. Bukele, the concentration camp man, came? Next up is the homegrowns. Bukele, ha. Dumbasses. That's what this Reich wants for you. If you do something they don't like, whatever that is. In the closet, Mikey Johnson and Stephen Miller would love to take your citizenship away. That means you can't come back, son. You're exiled. And they would love to have the right as well to send you anywhere in the world they want. They've done it to a lot of people already. But they want the final victory, to be able to do that to American citizens. And they will, don't worry. He just said it. The word deportation shouldn't be next to any American citizen's name. In my opinion, the only legitimate reason to take an American citizenship away, in my opinion, would be maybe if they stormed the Capitol and tried to overthrow the government and install a dictator. That's another thing about you people and your movement I meant to say a long time ago. You didn't storm the Capitol to overthrow a tyrannical government. It was the literal opposite. You stormed the Capitol for a murderer, rapist, and pedophile to install an authoritarian dictatorial government. How goddamn lame are you people? How much of Satan are you people? And all that talk by you people, you know who you are. For decades of my life, I had to hear this. If there's ever a tyrant, Second Amendment, the Patriots, they'll handle it. We're not going to tolerate that bullshit. No, the Patriots literally stormed the Capitol with weapons stored nearby to install a tyrant, son. Under those circumstances, I don't care who you are, your political ideology. If you attempted to overthrow the U.S. government to install a dictator, the opposite of everything this country allegedly was founded or stood for. Utter violation of the Constitution, by the way. I could understand trial and lose your citizenship and exile, yeah. Because you'd be a traitor to this nation. Now, Donnie's regime is a tyrannical, authoritarian movement. It's different. And they ain't hiding it. A rebellion against that I wouldn't see in the same light. But to try and overthrow your democratic government to put one man in charge for the rest of his life, like the emperor or something? Nah, I'd be on board with the government possibly taking citizenship away. If you sell our secrets to like Russia or something, I'd be on board with the government taking your citizenship away. Benedict Arnold. That type shit. Stealing 3,000 classified documents so you can sell them to Russia. That type shit. I'd be on board with taking citizenship away. I don't care who it is. I care about the crime of doing it. Because those crimes can directly result in the downfall of this nation. Millions dead. You could give plans or aid to an enemy that wants to attack us. Give them classified info, plans to a location. That results in a lot of people dead and our nation on fire, under attack. I'd be on board in that case as well. But Mikey Johnson, he's giving the game away here. This is how they think of us. Anyone not in the cult, this is how they think of all of them. Stephen Miller, him, Donnie Shitbags, Dugan, Vlad, Leon, Fail, all of them. That's their wet dream. They want to be able to take citizenship away from anyone because they know that will scare you shitless. And Donnie did say it out loud. Next up, the homegrowns. Sheep. That's where this is going if they can get there. Donnie wrote this fucking thesis today. The theme is communism. as if it's 1940, as if it's 1953. And, being a commie is evil, and they might, they could lock you up for it. Stephen Miller and Donnie are still on that because Donnie was alive back then. Same talking points the right wings had since the 1950s. And Donnie's the one taking stakes in businesses and taking over businesses. You notice that? Telling business what they can and can't do since day one, son. Second one. They all knew what he was about to do to them. That's why they all came. Every major business came and laid $1 million at his feet. Saying, please don't hurt me, Donnie. So the communism I'm seeing coming from the Reich and the right, son, that's where I'm seeing it. Socialism for the farmers, they got another 11 billion bailout coming of your money. Because Donnie ruined their whole industry again. And they'll take the welfare, son, and then they'll go vote against socialism in the voting booth because they idiots. And they want to burn it all down, like I said in the beginning. Let's read a piece of this until I get sufficiently disgusted. I will be speaking at 1:30 p.m. to the Faith and Freedom Coalition, and one of the statements I will be making, perhaps the most important of them all, concerns the recent election of communists in our country. No communist has gotten elected in this country, except for Donnie and MAGA. That's it. Communism is very easy to sell. I'd be the greatest communist in history. I'd give free rent, free houses, free food. Everything is free. No, you'd never do that, Donnie. You're a scumbag, greedy Satanist. Unfortunately, after 2 or 3 years, the country where this is taking place would fail. No, the country where the top is stealing all the money will fail, like in Russia right now. Quite the opposite, actually. And no country's ever tried real communism, where the people own all the businesses, all the revenue is shared, and all resources are shared. There would be no rich, there would be no poor, there would be no middle class. There would just be everyone having enough. But you see, Satan runs this world. And he doesn't like everyone having enough. He wants the people that do evil having it all and you having nothing. And the only reason he lets them have it all is because he needs them for a purpose. Otherwise, he'd love to starve them too. Not kidding in the slightest. That's how this world works. And if, let's say, Leon wanted to turn over a new leaf tomorrow, and he said, you know what? I'm going to take 20 billion of my money and I'm going to feed the homeless with that. The devil would take it away from him in a New York minute. Again, son, you don't understand your paradigm. I understand it perfectly. If all these billionaires that are at the top of society financially turned over a new leaf and started giving their money away to the poor, the devil would take that away from them. This is the devil's world. He don't want the poor succeeding, having food, shelter, health care. Oh no, son. So you know the theme of this entire thing. Scare the geriatrics with the word communism again like it's 1953, like the right wing's been doing since the end of the Second World War and before. And communism equals Hitler and socialism equals Hitler, because you're all idiots who believe that. You know who you are, because the right wing told you to, and Leon tells you to, Fox News tells you to, and your daddy told you to, because he didn't know what communism or socialism was either. Living as a commune is all resources are shared. No one gets to hoard everything. Everyone works. Everyone shares all resources. How that would work as a society, I don't know, because no one's ever tried it. Because the word communism and the word socialism are really masks for, in many countries, not all, In many countries, the word communist and socialist is a mask for fascism. And the guy at the top and his buddies stealing all the money. They're not a communist system. They're not a socialist system. They're a mob system where they take everything. And they cover it with the word communism or socialism as if it's for the people, when it never is. Now, if we really tried these, where the top wasn't stealing all the money like Vlad, like Donnie's doing and his people right now, you would see successes and happiness in the populace that you've never seen before. Because nobody would be hungry. Nobody wouldn't be able to see a doctor. Nobody would, if they need to take a month off sick because they catch an illness, or 3 months off for their pregnancy, they'd be fine. But that's not the world the devil wants. And that's not the world the devil's children want. They want all the money, and they want your dumbass, broke-ass, trailer park fucking ass out there saying communist and socialist and letting them keep all the money. Them and the fucking devil. It's all it's ever been since the beginning of this world. Even the hybrid socialist countries, the people at the top still stealing most of it. They're still happier than here because they don't go bankrupt when they get cancer or they, need a month off work because they caught mono or something. Here you lose your house if you catch mono because you got to work 9 jobs to keep it. And they don't take, doctor's notes and excuses lightly. That's why they're happier. This sounds a lot to me like Trump is laying the groundwork to steal the midterms. Yeah, that's what Ron Filipkowski's saying about that thesis I just didn't read you. Because why bother? AI and Stephen Miller probably wrote it anyway. Fucking feels like it's 1952. It's communism on the rise. Yeah, Donnie, you're the commie. You're taking businesses, motherfucker. I'm not. Never forget that the Trumpet admin wants to throw people in jail for touching water in the reflecting pool, but allowed an ICE agent to walk free after he murdered a woman in broad daylight on camera and called her a fucking bitch. Yep, that's the current dystopia you're in. A fenced-off pool because Donnie ruined it, and he doesn't want people touching the water. And he really needs you to believe his vandalism story. So throw the fence up, keep, tripling, quadrupling down on the fake vandalism story. And the fence makes you believe it, right? Troops, police, in groups, 10, 12 cops and military men detaining one person. 3 cops running after one guy who dips his fingers in the water. You fucking psychopaths. That made this happen, and the cops doing it. And the ones that sent him out there. A woman shot in the face, getting called a fucking bitch by fat fuck Johnny. Clap for that, smile for that, that's great. Whisk him away to safety, hide his location, give him $1 million. That's your current dystopia. And that happened to an American citizen. Not an illegal, not that it should matter. I know it matters to some of you, that's why I say it. It's called inversion. This is backwards Satan world, and a whole percentage of the population loves it. And would preach this on Sunday at church as if this is good. Dear leader, arresting people for sticking their fingers in the reflecting pool. Dear leader, telling a murderer to go out and murder. And when he does it, whisking him away to safety, rewarding him, and saying he's a hero. That's inversion. That's calling evil good and good evil. That's why it's over. And also, son, even worse. That was prophesied for this time. They will call evil good and good evil. And now I know right what that looks like. Straight inversion. This is just a straight flip of good and evil, man. Right? This example right here. You get treated like a murderer for dipping your hands in a reflecting pool that Donnie ruined, where he and a contractor pocketed $14 million a year money, you fucking marks. The murderer gets treated like a hero and whisked away to safety. Shoots a woman in the face and intended to do it before he walked up to the car. And that's obvious. Fat fuck Johnny is a goddamn murderer. And fat fuck Johnny, I have a feeling. But don't worry, fat fuck Johnny. My feelings never turn out to be right and they never come true. Don't worry. Hear me out. I have a feeling God's going to play that video for you that you took on your phone right before he walks you to the lake. Because you're going to be sniveling and crying and begging. And God won't answer. He's just going to hit the play button. While you're sniveling, crying, and begging. And right before you go in, fat fuck Johnny, I just got a feeling. You're going to hear yourself saying, fucking bitch. Right before your toes hit the fire. It's just a feeling I have. But don't worry again, fat fuck Johnny. My feelings never turn out to be right or true. They never come true. Don't worry. You're safe. It's just a fleeting feeling. You're safe in the arms of your mail-order bride. Don't worry. Some, Goebbels Jr., the ghoul philosophy. Stephen Miller, America's doors are fully closed to asylum seekers. If you want asylum, we'll find another country to take you. Stephen Miller's family needed asylum and came here years ago. Otherwise, Stephen wouldn't be here. Is Stephen Jewish as well? Another self-hating Jew? Because you know what Stephen Miller wants to do to Jews, right? If you don't know, you better ask somebody. That's incredible, him being one. That's what I heard anyway, right? Isn't he? Since October 2025, 4,499 refugees have been resettled in the U.S., according to the Refugee Processing Center. All but 3 who were from Afghanistan were South African. And they get a welcome package and with an Android tablet, American flag, copies of the Constitution, Deck of Independence, Trump-approved literature promoting version of American and South African history that criticizes racial equity. Did they mean to write equality or they mean equity? And civil rights laws while promoting claims of discrimination against white people. Yeah, the problem in Africa was the discrimination against white people, right? Right, son? Right, Satan? Were the white South Africans put on boats and in chains in the bilge of a boat and made slaves when they got to the New World? No. The nerve. The nerve, man. So the only refugees we've been receiving since 25 South African whites. They just took protective status away from a bunch of Haitians. People that made lives, have jobs. Didn't come here illegally. They had protected status in their homeland right now. Haiti, it's all fucked up. Not a safe place to go back to. But the white South Africans bring them in by the thousands, man. Seems a little unfair, doesn't it? Seems a little racist, doesn't it? And Stephen's saying it out loud. But Stephen didn't mention that the South Africans are welcome here. I know he's aware of it. It's his policy. So what's Stephen mean? Oh, he means asylum seekers of color. Oh, he's a goddamn Nazi. That's right. Never mind. I forgot. Donnie posted this, him on the new passport. The USA's new passport, which says, welcome, but be good. President fuckface pedophile. He posted this. Because he's an idiot. And the commenter is saying, U.S. passports are used by U.S. citizens traveling abroad. Welcome to what? Be good, right? You know, he's a moron who thinks these passports are used by people coming in from other countries that want to live here or something. That's why I said welcome. But be good because, you know what he means by that. He ain't talking to the whites. I can tell by what he's saying. But Donnie's such a goddamn idiot. He just wants his picture on it so bad because that's all that matters to Donnie. How do I know? He doesn't even understand the concept of the passport, what it's meant for, who it's meant for, its purpose. I just want my picture on it, mommy. Because I'm God. Why does God get all the praise? I want it. He doesn't understand the concept that U.S. passports are for American citizens that want to travel outside the country. So there's nothing to welcome anybody to. Well, he don't know that because he's a moron. Moron, grifter, 8-year-old mentally. His only focus is how do I get my picture, my face, my name on more things, more gold statues, more praise, more honor of me. How do I achieve that? My image in more places. An image is central to the end. You understand that, right? Who have you ever seen want to put their image up in more ways and on more things and out there digitally than this thing? Nobody. Again, another criteria. He put an image out of himself as the Pope. He put an image out of himself as Jesus. Next is image of God the Father. Is that done via statue on the Temple Mount? Is that done via social media post? I'm thinking it's done by something on the Temple Mount. But the real image will be the AI version of him. Of course, they could do a statue in the Temple Mount as well. Damn it, I just wanted to have a cigarette. Now it's raining. So along with the gold statues, along with Donnie posting himself on Rushmore, putting his image on buildings, those tarps they're hanging on certain government buildings, he's the perfect candidate. And honestly, tyrants throughout history have loved to put their image forth to the public and love to honor themselves. But this guy's on another level. And one more time, the image, an image is central. An image that goes forth and has life and speaks. AI, most likely, never existed before now. So it was never possible before now. And we have a guy in charge who obviously idolizes Adolf Hitler, had his speeches next to his bed, and he slaps his face and name wherever he can. And he puts gold statues of himself up. And he wants one put up in Venezuela. And I have a feeling there's going to be one in the Holy Land since they showed us a video of it. And no, I don't believe that video was a joke by some Israeli filmmaker, no. Because Donnie's literally all about the gold statue of himself. He's put his own up. And he wants more. So it wouldn't surprise me if he does eventually have one put up in the Holy Land or in the temple. Would Bibi be that crazy? Would the religious Jews that go along with Bibi, would they be that crazy? To put a statue of Donnie like on the temple, on the outside, in the temple, on the Temple Mount. Because they know what an offense to God that is. But do they want their dreams so bad? Are they so blind? They'd be like, okay, Donnie, we'll put up the statue. God the Father won't mind, I'm sure. You stealing his glory. What I'm trying to say to you, unfortunately, little children, I don't want them to. He fits the criteria fucking perfectly. He's the perfect candidate. And this is another example of it. The little child Donnie does not even understand the concept of a passport and who it's for and what it's for. He just proved that. Because what he's concerned with is this. His image slapped on it. Him being glorified while he's alive. That is not a good sign for us. Because he fits the criteria perfect. He's all about putting his image out there on things, his face, his name, every fucking where, on coins, on money. He wants his image everywhere. That is central to Revelation. That's not good for us. U.S. forces struck Iranian missile and drone storage locations and coastal radar sites today as a response to Iran's drone attack yesterday on a cargo ship in the Strait of Hormuz, per CENTCOM. These are the first U.S. strikes since the MOU was signed. So again, so much for Versailles. It's just right back to war. I saw a picture of a military base in Bahrain the other day that Iran just hit recently again. So again, Iran is hitting targets. Don't let Pete and Donnie fool you by the media blackout of everything Iran has hit across the fucking Middle East. They still hitting targets. Son, they just hit Bahrain, U.S. military base again. So we have tit for tat. Things are getting destroyed. Donnie and Pete just ain't showing it. I've seen the pictures. Trump dozes off as Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick says there's no such thing as separation of church and state in the U.S. Constitution. Look, these people ain't Christians. They use the religious thing for control of you, rube idiots out there. They know that keeps them in power. And they know that they can use it to control you better. Only reason they want this. You think Greg Abbott and Mr. Paxton give a fuck about Christianity? No, they're using it for a purpose. But the point of this, Donnie's asleep. Again, every day. This is a daily occurrence now. The second other people start talking, Donnie's brain, flips the switch. Oh, nap time. Someone else is talking. I'm not the center of attention. Right on camera in front of us all. What a goddamn insult. Someone needs to grab his fat ass and throw him out of the fucking White House. It's a goddamn insult. This piece of shit stealing every nickel that isn't nailed down. He goes to sleep on camera just saying fuck you to us all every single day. You won't be sleeping in the lake, Donnie. Don't worry. It'll be way too hot to sleep. That's the lake of fire in the afterlife. Just to be clear. Every single day we see this. Can you fall asleep at your job? And he's the goddamn president. Oh, before I move on, the separation of church and state thing. Look, I've told you how I look at this before. Just because I believe in Jesus doesn't mean I expect the entire world to be Christian, and I want to force that on the entire world. Jesus didn't force his Christianity on people. He gave you a choice. He didn't convert people at sword point. And this nation was founded on the state won't endorse any religion. You're free to practice what you want to practice. I think that's the best policy personally. State-mandated religion is always a mistake. And if you're a Christian and you're like, well, I like that idea. I'm a Christian. I want state-mandated Christianity. Well, okay. What if a Muslim gets in power at some point? What if a Jew? What if a Buddhist? What if a Hare Krishna? So they get in power and they want to, they want everyone being a Muslim, and they want, Islam to be the national religion, and they impose that on the people. You wouldn't have a problem with that, right? Mr. I want to force Christianity on everyone, right? You wouldn't have a problem with that? Of course you would. That's why you shouldn't want a state-mandated religion. Because your religion might not be the one that gets mandated at some point, dumbass. And the central figure of Christianity never forced anyone to be a Christian. He preached his gospel. If you liked it and you wanted to follow him, you could. If you didn't, go about your day. That's how Jesus handled it. And I don't remember Jesus preaching that there should be state-sanctioned Christianity either. Something is going on. Idaho has quietly become the second largest H5N1 hotspot in U.S. dairy cattle. USDA just added 6 more infected herds. Not individual animals, herds. This worries me. I'm seeing the heat in Britain will kill food that would be on shelves months from now. The problems with beef in America, now with the screwworm, H5N1, I'm worried about this. I'm seeing a trend of there being less available food in the near future. Due to climate, due to screwworm, due to Donnie and Brooks stealing all the money, canceling all the programs, incompetence, thievery. That's what happens when people steal all the money and liquidate all the programs and salaries. That's exactly what Donnie and Pete Thale and Leon would love to see, a food scarcity that's a million times more control of millions more people they have. Yeah, I'm seeing an engineered or by incompetence Satan and the climate food shortage coming in the future. It's kind of obvious, especially meat, beef. We're already fucked. Is what, $8-9 a pound? I don't know. I haven't bought beef in a while. Johnny posted this. 3 military people at the reflecting pool. And the reflections in the pool. The thumbnail. What is it, like the Lincoln Memorial next to that? Again, like I said in the beginning, why would Donnie post something like this? You don't understand, right? What drives him to post something like this? This is Donnie's dream. Military occupation in D.C. and he's king. And he did it. And you let him. And again, it looks like this. While our dream, again, out here is to have a nice life, maybe a decent job, some good income, some time off to be able to spend with friends and family, comfort, security, not have to struggle too hard. Donnie's dream has been, I want to be Adolf Hitler. I want to run the world. I want to impose my will on everyone. If they don't like what I do, well, I got my hand to Satan. Right here, these 3 men. Hand to Satan. That's all you doing right now. I'd put the gun down and resign if I were you. These 3 men right in this picture, they are the literal hand of the Antichrist and Satan right now at this moment. Whether they understand, care, you care, I care, it's goddamn irrelevant. It will cost them lest they turn away and don't do it no more. Donnie would be able to do nothing without these 3 men right here. Nothing. They are the hand. Donnie is the will, the intent. This is dystopian as fuck, this picture. And the fact that he's posting it. And I know exactly why. I just told you. He's dreamt of being Adolf Hitler his entire life. He had his speeches next to his bed, dumbass. That was a big game and a joke to a lot of people, right? How dangerous could a guy be who was born utterly rich by a pimp clan member, was his daddy? Pimp slumlord clan member who looked like a goddamn monster. And I'm sure he was. Fred Christ Trump's son? Shit. What else could turn out the Antichrist but Fred Christ fucking Trump? That goddamn monster. Yeah, what could go wrong? A guy that had Hitler's speeches next to his bed, born. Daddy was a slumlord pimp clan member. Roy Cohn was his mentor. throwing rocks at babies and shit, military school. And then when he gets a little older, he's got Hitler's speeches next to his bed. You hear about that, and you're like, yeah, why not? We rolled a fucking dice. Oh shit, Snake Eyes, end of America, end of the world, the apocalypse. I gotta say this again. I know I've said this before. I don't care. And I'm gonna take a break real quick. I think about this often. And I talk about it often. I tell you. All of you thought. Just another right-wing con job. You'll just vote hate again. You'll vote evil again. You'll get in a booth. You'll hit that R like you always have. Your daddy did. Your granddaddy did. And you walk away unscathed like you always have. And it wouldn't touch you. And worse still, you had no conception. You couldn't even fathom not getting away with it. What do I mean by that? Well, usually when you go in the booth and vote R, well, just Satan and the rich win again, and you get fucked. And so does everyone else. And you love it. And you get away relatively unscathed. But this time, just like I've been yelling for 10 years, you had a choice. The apocalypse or not the apocalypse. The end of America, your future and your kids' future? And the world? Or not the end of your future and your kids' future and the world? And America? You walked into the booth, and on some level you wanted it, son. I know. I know more about your mind than you do. I study the sheep out there. The whole flock. You have astounding patterns. So I knew in 2015, the apocalypse, the end of America and the end of the world was literally on the ballot. Why I was yelling. And on some level, I didn't know this then, on some level you wanted it. I learned that over time. Watching you. In other words, son, you don't even know it. I know. You don't have to. You wanted the end of it all before you walked in the booth. You didn't even know. I did. I knew you'd be ending it all. Somehow, even after the coup, we get him out of office. 4 years later, the question is asked again, for the third time. Son, does you want the apocalypse? Does you want the end of America, the end of your future and your kids' future, the end of the world? Or does you not want that? You went in the booth for the third time. You hit that R again. Because deep down, son, you do want the end of America. You want the end of your future. You want the end of your kids' future. You want the end of the world. Why? Because you're of the devil. And that's what the devil is, ruin, chaos. And that obviously must be what you are. For that is what you have wrought. It amazes me. Each of you rube sheep and greedy fucks at the top. The thought of your stupid ass going in that booth and you thought you were only going to benefit. You thought hate would reign and you were going to love it. And then the rich thought, I'm going to make so much money off this fucking guy and his evil policies. He's an open door to bribe. He's perfect. He'll fulfill all my evil dreams of being a centibillionaire. Because being a centimillionaire just isn't good enough. That's what you thought before you went in. That you're only going to benefit. No, son. The corporate people at the top and the oligarchy, the greedy fucks, and the peasant rube at the bottom. Deep down, you all wanted to end it all. For your ruin and chaos, you're of the devil. That's what he is. That's inside you, born of him. Born of you. So all 3 times what you were going in there voting on little children, you don't have to agree, you don't have to care. Fucking meaningless. You were voting for the apocalypse or not. You were voting for the end of America or not. You were voting for the end of the world or not. You were voting for the end of your future, your kids' future, or not. You didn't choose or not. So it's all over, son, I'm sorry. Nothing I can do about it. The devil gave him a seat, son. And you helped. Too late. I'll be back in a moment. You get the sip of water. Remember this jerk off? Why do they all look like this? I mean, if there was a picture of... Let me not say it. Do you remember this guy? You probably don't. I do. I believe this was in D.C. And of course, oh, he's from Ohio. They get a lot of them from Ohio and Texas and places like that. And, or maybe it was in Ohio, I'm not sure. I had a feeling it was in D.C. though. And groups of these troops were walking around the community, and there was a guy following them around, and he had a loudspeaker or something, and he was playing the theme to the Empire from Star Wars. You know, the dun, 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 dun. So, you know, it was quite comical watching troops from hillbilly America walk around all tough and bad, and there's a guy behind him playing the Empire theme. It was fucking brilliant, by the way. I loved it. It was a brilliant idea. That's what needed to be done to this movement from the beginning. Mocked out of existence. That was not done. Too late now. So the guy turned around and started fucking with the guy, saying he was going to arrest him. There's a whole video. I presented it to you when it happened because it was hilarious. This was months ago. And eventually they slapped some cuffs on the guy and they detained him for a while. Well, the guy sued and he got paid. Because it's a form of protest, what he was doing. It's protected speech. That's what this country allegedly was founded on. I know you patriots don't believe in any of that. That's why you're traitors and not patriots. That's simple. If you don't believe in the philosophy of people you don't like still have rights, you don't get to lock somebody up just because you don't like them, or deport them just because you don't like them, or arrest them, lock them up in jail just because you don't like them. That is utterly opposite to what this country allegedly stands for and what true patriotism is. But you people are this guy who think you can lock somebody up for playing the Empire Strikes Back theme in protest to what? To fascist America. That's why that guy got paid. Eventually, no one will get paid from lawsuits like that anymore. Ohio National Guard Sergeant Devin Beck, who summoned D.C. police to end Mr. O'Hara's constitutionally protected act of protest. Guard members are abusing the illegal authority they've been given to do domestic law enforcement. Right, illegal. We got troops occupying D.C. Right now. That's utterly illegal. There should be impeachments over it. And Donnie posting about it like it's the greatest thing in the world. All we want is cheap goddamn groceries. And to be able to afford to live. Instead, we get the military on our fucking streets and jacked up prices every day going higher. Because one fat, orange, pedophile, diapered cunt wants to be Adolf Hitler. And wants to be God. Already told us he wanted to be Pope and Jesus. You fucking psychos that made this happen again. I know you just swept that under the rug, right? You'll be fine with Obama posting himself as Jesus, right, assholes? Or as the Pope, right, son? I know. You're a goddamn hypocrite. I know. That's why it's over. That's why I hate you, too. Forgot that. Glad I remembered. DC will pay an undisclosed settlement to resident Sam O'Hara. Undisclosed, that means they paying some big money and they don't want you to know. Who was handcuffed by MPD for playing the Imperial March tune from Star Wars while walking behind National Guard troops in the city last September. O'Hara was detained for 20 minutes. The District of Columbia has agreed to pay to settle a First Amendment lawsuit brought by the American Civil Liberties Union on behalf of Sam O'Hara, a DC resident. The settlement only applies to the conduct of DC police. So it was an Ohio guardsman in DC, just like I thought. A lot of these traitors are from Ohio. They're from Texas. And every one of them's a goddamn traitor. I don't care if they want to be there or not. You're the hand of the devil. That's all I'm concerned with, son. And that's all that God's going to be concerned with. I just have a feeling. But don't worry. My feelings never happen. They never come true. I'm always wrong. Always. Don't worry. So we got Texas traitors. We got Ohio traitors in a military occupation of the District of Columbia, the capital of our nation right now. And Donnie wants to keep them there forever. He's already said it. America's over. Been over. Since January 2025. Oh, another wearable. MemoCat. Another wearable. These are all over Twitter. New companies coming out all the time. They really want to make this happen. You need a wearable for sleep. You need a wearable to monitor your health. You need a wearable when you work out to, make sure your shit's all good. And son, there was a story written over 1,000 years ago that says this cunt's going to come along and want to put a mark on everybody. And you can't participate unless you take it. And then just coincidentally, some brainworm, heroin-addicted junkhead cunt named Junkhead Jr. was in a congressional hearing. Was it last year? I'm not sure. And, right before that, there was this crazy guy with sunglasses yelling about Marx and the beast and Satan and all that shit. And he just happened to be watching this hearing, and this junkhead, smackhead, brainworm fuck says out loud, son, I want everybody wearing a wearable within 4 years. A wearable, digital ID, flock cameras, AI, an image that can speak for people and go forth and do things for them. Reflecting your values. That's what Zuckerberg said, right? Reminds me of a story that I heard once. And since the brainworm guy said he wants a wearable on everyone within 4 years, well, that's obviously the plan, isn't it? And this wearable can see inside your body and can track you and can report back to somewhere. And it's on you all the time. And I'm sure it's only coincidence that they're trying to get us all to hand over our IDs and have one online ID. And it's just coincidence, the camera in my car and surveillance in my car. And it's just coincidence that there's, 8, 9 new wearable companies putting commercials up all over the place. And it's just coincidence that the smackhead brainworm guy said he wants us all wearing one within 4 years. The presidential term of the dictator in charge right now, who's not leaving, by the way. Never was. All coincidence. No need to worry. Most people do not have a note-taking problem. They have a memory problem. Meetings happen, ideas happen, follow-ups happen. Then the context disappears. That is why we're building MemoCat. Early bird spots are now open. Pay only $5 to unlock early bird prices. The lightest AI note-taking wristband. You mean a son, you mean a wearable? Is that what we're talking about, son? I don't know if your little children are aware. Your cell phone has a recording device. You can record anything, anytime, anywhere. So why you need one on your wrist? It can already track your phone too. So why do you need it on your wrist? Why do I need AI and a recorder on my wrist when I got a phone that has AI and a recorder that I carry with me at all times? Like I told you before, little children, you can walk away from your car, you can put your phone down. Then you've got nothing electronic on you for them to track you, listen to you, anything. You can actually have a private moment. It's the only private moment left. You have to put your phone somewhere away from you, and your car needs to be away from you. And you best not be near a flock listening station. But right now, there's one way you can be alone and have privacy. Walk into a field, away from all your appliances and your Ring camera. Like a dumbass, you have that on your house. And you pay for it. You can walk into a field and put your phone down, walk away from your car, your Ring camera on your house, and you can have privacy. Only way. What's the only way to take that away? That last refuge. Little children. Something on your body, of course. You know, just like the story says, and it's all in conjunction with AI and digital surveillance and surveillance of my car and flock cameras and listening stations. All, again, all coincidental. It's all in conjunction. They won't work together at all, will they? And AI, of course. The last piece of the puzzle. Even the digital ID isn't the last piece of the puzzle. This is. Something on your body. You can never escape the surveillance, the tracking, anything. You already have it planned for your car if you buy a 2027. Last free place is your body. Not no more. This is coming. And it looks like, from what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing, it looks like that's going to be the mark. That's going to be the thing that goes on your body. Because the RFID in between the skin, putting it in your body, I think that was a little much for some people. And it's not catching on the way they were hoping. So they're really hoping this will work. Especially the brainworm guy. And hey, Rube's out in, mid Kansas some damn where. You wouldn't mind wearing one of these all day, right? Because the Reich told you to. Donnie, the cult's telling you to do it. Right? You wouldn't mind wearing this, would you? You best mind wearing it. Because wearing it gonna have you in the goddamn abyss. It's coming. I already showed you the one from Huma Health. This one's marketed as, oh, it's a recorder for meetings and this and that. And it'll just do it. And it's got AI. Because a cell phone with the recorder and AI, that's not good enough. I need it on my body. Right, Satan? Right, Memo Cat? Right. There was a story written about that again. It's the reason I keep repeating that. Iran's IRGC announces it has struck multiple high-value U.S. Army positions in the region in response to today's U.S. strikes on Iranian coasts near the Strait of Hormuz per Tasnim. The IRGC adds that according to Clause 5 of Islamabad MOU, the arrangements for controlling passage and traffic in the strait are under the authority of the Islamic Republic of Iran, warning if the aggression is repeated, our response will be broader than this. In other words, we going right back to war. That's what it sounds like. So much for Versailles. What started as former Russian Army Commander Alexander Lunin threatening Putin over the epidemic of brutality, theft, and murder in the Russian military, it's always been like that, is quickly becoming the seeds of civil war, as military units are producing videos joining the threats against the Kremlin. As Putin's Gopnik army becomes self-aware, a Russian serviceman is now publicly threatening the gargoyle midget czar with widespread mutiny. All right, this is the second video that came out a day later, I believe, with a group of troops. Russian troops get treated brutally. Watch Enemy at the Gates is a perfect example of how Russians approach the military, the mindset. Not enough equipment because the top of Russian society stole all the money. You load up a bunch of conscripts on a fucking boat as the Germans are, destroying one of your cities. There's only enough guns and bullets for half the soldiers. They hand a gun to one soldier. They hand the bullets to the soldier behind him. And they say, when that soldier gets killed with the gun, you pick the gun up and you start fighting. And they send you to the front like that. If you turn and run, they shoot you. That's in the movie. That's what they do in real life and much worse. That's part of the reason this is going on now. But they can also see they're losing the war. This is the original soldier that did the original message. I expect him to be dead soon. Putin does not take kindly to shit like this. If you're going to do a coup, just do it. Don't talk about it. That's what Prigozhin did. Prigozhin's dead now. They're doing the same thing. They're turning to the leader saying, we're about to do something if we don't see some changes. Putin doesn't respond to that. He just gonna kill you. I applaud their effort, though. And again, it's more about supplies not coming. They all see they've lost the war. They don't want to be there. And so now the harsh treatment seems doubly harsh because the men all see they've lost and they want to leave and they can't. They know they'll be executed if they try it. And if they show low morale, they may be tied to a tree naked and beat up or something. I'm not kidding in the slightest. But this isn't new for the Russian army. They just know they lost and supplies ain't coming, so it's getting extra mutinous. The message was recorded by 39-year-old Alexander Lunin, a former reconnaissance unit commander in the Sudopletov battalion. In the video, Lunin demands a live meeting with Putin and alleges that Russian soldiers are tortured, abused, punished for refusing what he describes as stupid orders or for failing to hand over money. Jesus. I guess that's money they steal from Ukrainians, he means, probably. In other words, a sergeant didn't get his VIG. One of the gravest offenses in the Russian military, I guess. So you've got threats of mutiny in the military. They know they've lost. Russia has lost the war. Unless Donnie helps them, which I expect Donnie to do. Only thing that can turn the tide on this. Ukraine has almost free reign inside Russia, and they're about to take Crimea back. They're an inch away. There are lines miles long of Russians leaving Crimea because power's been cut off, plumbing, everything. And they're surrounded. That was a major thing in this war. No one ever thought at the beginning of this that Ukraine had a chance of taking Crimea back. They about to take it back. They have free reign inside of Russia. Their drones, I just told you, are flying around Moscow whenever they want. Without resistance. Vlad has lost. That's where we're at right now. Zelensky has control. And Vlad is facing mutiny as well. This is probably the worst I've seen it. And it really feels like, unless Donnie steps in and helps Vlad straight up, starts selling him weapons, maybe even gets U.S. troops involved against Ukraine, I don't know how Vlad's going to turn the tide. Will Vlad get desperate to shoot a nuke off or hit one of Ukraine's nuke plants for spite? Vlad's crazy enough to do it, and he's dying, so. So's Donnie. So's Bibi. All have nukes. All involved in major wars. You know what that spells, son? The goddamn end. That's what it spells. With millions of Russians now living in their cars, sitting in fuel lines, hoping to purchase a small ration of gasoline, the obvious problem of Russians defecating and urinating everywhere has become a big issue. Russian cities now placing portable toilets on roads near petrol stations. Can you imagine being in line for gas for a day or two? 1,000 people, maybe a few hundred people. They all gotta go to the bathroom. So they're gonna have to do that wherever they at. It's bad when the state's putting out porta potties near gas stations because the lines are so bad. That pretty much spells the end, I would say. Unless Vlad surrenders tomorrow, and, that way Zelensky will stop hitting his oil refineries. I don't see that happening. So I guess porta potties it is. I don't think it'll make much of a difference. This is MemoCat again. The ultimate Apple Watch companion. At 0.4 ounces. MemoCat is the world's largest, lightest AI recorder. Wear it as a wristband, pendant, or clip. 20-hour battery life, premium dual mics. Join the early bird program. Wow, you could surveil people and record people too, and that's what it's for. It's to record you, because they can access it whenever they want. So can the CIA. So can Peter Thiel. That's the goal here, you understand. Recording device on you. Also, it's a wearable, and they want us all used to that. They're marketing in any way they can think of. None of it necessary. They're trying to make it necessary. No one needs a goddamn recorder on their wrist. AI driven. Your phone already has that. It's for wearable purposes. It's to get that on the population. Last freedom you have is your body, son. They took the car away. They took the phone. That's fucking surveilling you 24 hours a day. Everything you do, say, watch, every website. Everything. Again, the CIA, Thale, the companies all have access to this thing we're carrying around. Everything is on the internet now. We own nothing. We can't even own our car. They will be able to shut that off. They will be able to shut our phone off. Our digital presence online. The wearable is all in conjunction with that. There's no escape. That's what they're building, and they're almost done. This is the last puzzle. How do we get these moron sheep to put something on their body? The glasses, the AirPods, not good enough. Wearable, just as useless as AI. And the brainworm guy wants it on all of us, so it's going to be on all of us. Except for the ones that say no. That won't be many, I'm sure. This is another one. This is Bia, and this is marketed for sleep. So I need a wearable to record my meetings. That'll be one on my wrist. I need, this might go on your head. I'm not sure. It's hard to tell from the picture. Goes on your head or wrist, I'm not sure. I need a wearable to monitor my sleep, because it'll help me sleep somehow. Whatever cockamamie bullshit they thought up. I need a wearable when I'm exercising to monitor my whatever body output, input, whatever. I need a wearable for health purposes. How many am I wearing now? Are they all going to do everything for me? Do you believe this? The angles of marketing on this, when it's not necessary for any of it. It's a totally useless thing. It's only good for one purpose, just like AI. Yet it's marketed for a million different purposes. AI is only good for killing and surveilling people. That's it. And being omnipresent. That is it. Part of the surveillance process, doing quick searches on you, pulling up the information. Hopefully it's your information, because they've already fucked up on hundreds of people. There are people getting stopped by the police every fucking 5 minutes everywhere they go because of flock and wrong information in this brilliant satanic digital system we're about all to be forced into. We're forced into it now. Once you got the wearable on, now there's no escape. Final piece. Marketed for sleep now. Marketed to record your meetings. Marketed to monitor your health. Neurofeedback sleep mask. Okay, so it goes on your head now. You're going to have your wearable on your wrist to monitor your health. You're going to have this on your fucking head to monitor your... Can you fucking believe this? On your right hand and forehead. Interesting. Senses brain state. Guides brain towards deeper sleep. Are you fucking kidding me? What is this thing doing to your head while it's on you? I don't even want to know. Guides the brain. Learns your sleep and wake up cue. Well, what good's that going to do me? I know when I wake up and fall asleep too. Improves deep sleep night after night. How's that possible? It's nothing to do with that. Just another access into my body and my vitals. And to track me and to monitor me through AI. Can you believe it? You're going to have a wearable on your fucking head when you sleep. You're going to have a wearable at the meeting. You're going to have your health wearable on. Are you fucking kidding me with? Can you believe how stupid they think we are? Because that's all this says, son. I mean, it's just, it screams surveillance beast system. It might as well say sponsored by the devil and the apocalypse. It's so obvious. And these marketing attempts, my God, do you really need a thing on your head to help you sleep, son? Do you really think that's going to do anything for your life except get you used to having wearables and AI on your body and giving them access? The company, the government, the CIA, Peter Thiel, whoever has access to this bullshit via back doors. Like they have access to our phone. This is insane. All these are off Twitter, by the way. All these commercials. More and more every day I see. So this is obviously the direction they want to go. RFK Jr. let us know that in words, in intention. And now I'm seeing commercial after commercial for these things. This one you put on your fucking head now. Little tiny children. Let Daddy tell you a quick story that was written over 1,000 years ago. Jesus said in this story, written over 1,000 years ago, that this beast person, the devil's goddamn anointed, would want something on your right hand and forehead. We got wearables that go right on your wrist. You can put it on your right hand, I'm sure, or your left. It doesn't matter. It doesn't make the prophecy null in any way. You ain't beating God on a technicality, son, putting it on your left wrist or the chip in your left hand. Not by a damn sight. And a wearable that can go on your head. Right here. And that's what the story said. Or maybe the MAGA hat's the mark on the forehead. Leon's into brain chips, and now we got the head wearable, so maybe God was talking about that. But interesting, the only two kind of wearables I've seen so far go on your wrist and your forehead. I'm sure it's just coincidence. Nothing to worry about, son. Don't worry about it. Go back to sleep. Social media channels are flooded with examples of long lines anywhere in Russia. This is Chita, Zabaikalsky region, which is more than 5,000 kilometers from the Ukrainian border. It looks like a collapse in fuel distribution, especially trucks are paralyzed. This is all over Russia, son. And in Crimea. Video after video of long-ass lines. That's what happens when your country collapses. That's what happens when a thug, tyrant, mobster steals all the money and gets in a war his ass can't fucking handle. Cheremkovo, Irkutsk region, not far from the Mongolian border. By the way, just 90 kilometers away sits one of Siberia's largest oil refineries. But it seems things are no longer going according to plan. It will only get worse. Another long-ass line of cars. All over Russia, son. Not good. 5 days ago, Zelensky gave Belarus 7 days to remove military equipment that helps Russian drones from their borders, or we will remove it ourselves. Yesterday, Belarus surrendered. Yep, I watched the video the other day, and I'm like, holy shit, Zelensky on a whole new level now. Zelensky dictating what's going on over there now. How do I know? He was sitting at a table the other day talking to Belarus. And he said, you guys want to help? You know how you can help? Stop letting Russia use your radar and stop assisting them in bombing us. And if you don't stop, I'll give you a week. If you don't stop it by week's end, I will stop you. He said that out loud. That means the tide is turned when Belarus is more afraid of Ukraine than Russia. Belarus is a puppet of Russia. Zelensky said straight up, I'm going to give you a week to stop helping Russia. Or I'm going to stop you myself. And they stopped. That would never have happened before now. That tells me something has changed. The lines for gas tells me something has changed. The free reign Ukrainian drones have over Moscow and St. Petersburg and elsewhere tells me something has changed. In other words, Lukashenko paid Vlad a visit yesterday, today, and that's a big deal. Lukashenko is a major oligarch. And he probably went to tell Vlad, look, man, this ain't working out. This situation don't change. We're going to have to remove you, son. Might have to go another route. Do you know what Lukashenko did before he went to see Vlad? He called up Zelensky. And he said, look, can you guarantee me, I'm asking a favor, can you just not hit Moscow? Can you allow me to land and see him? He had to ask Zelensky's permission, son, to go to Moscow. Again, another indicator. You add all three of those up. Lukashenko calling Zelensky like, can I please go to Moscow? Please don't kill me on the way there, kill Vlad, or hit Moscow with 90 drones. Do I have your permission, Mr. Zelensky, to go see Mr. Putin? And Zelensky said, okay, I won't hit it while you're there. I'll let you have your meeting. Because Zelensky knows what kind of meeting it's going to be, too. The tables are turning on Vlad in a way I've never seen before. That Prigozhin shit was a joke compared to this. The reason Lukashenko went to see him is because it's over, man. So one, Lukashenko had to ask Zelensky's permission to go see Vlad. Two, Zelensky told the Serbians, I'm going to give you a week. If you're still helping Vlad, I'm going to stop you from helping Vlad. Do you hear me? They stopped. They've never done that before. Russians all over Russia and Russians in Ukraine fleeing cannot get gasoline. They're flipping out on the side of the road, shitting their pants. Literally. And again, drones have free reign over Russia. It's over, son. And the only thing that can turn this tide, and I think it may happen, again, Donnie joining up with Vlad in all of our faces, can't hide it no more. First, you would see dead Russian soldiers with American weapons. That's the first thing you'd see. Maybe Ukraine gets hit with a new kind of missile that they weren't hit with before. That works a lot better. And they would discover that's American, and they'd find dead Russian soldiers with America. That's the first thing that would happen. A week after that, openly, Donnie would just say, I'm helping Vlad to fight Ukraine because they're Nazis or whatever excuse, communists, whatever. That's how it would roll. I've always known that. I've been expecting it. I hope it doesn't happen, but I can't see Donnie just letting this all go down. Because Vlad's his master. And there's no other way to turn this the other direction. If it continues like this, in very short order, Ukraine will have defeated Russia, and it's going to be horrific. And Ukraine will be a superpower in the region, like Iran is now a superpower in their region by fucking with Donnie's shitbags. Can you believe it? The only way to turn this around again is Donnie would have to join up with Vlad and fight Ukraine. And I expect that. What else would he do? He's the Antichrist. He can't let his boy Vlad go down. Or Donnie could go behind Vlad and make deals with others and say, you know, let's take him out and I'll work with the new guy. Around 2,500 cars are now queued at Kerch Bridge. Next come restrictions, more security forces, cars turned back before the bridge, and holding areas under occupation control. Russians will now enjoy waiting in detention-style parking lots under police supervision. We Ukrainians warned this would happen, checkpoints, restrictions, and eventually many Russians simply not being allowed to leave Crimea. In short, best of luck, right? That's how dictators handle it. You don't get to leave when you feel like it. You don't embarrass the regime by fleeing the area. Next, they're exactly right. Next, men will be sent in to stop these people from leaving. Because they're ceding the territory to Ukraine by not being there. And they're embarrassing Vlad. They're embarrassing Russia by fleeing. That's how Russia will see it. They always have. That's why East Berlin was under Russian control, and you were not allowed to leave. Dictatorships can't allow the populace to have freedom of travel. If you go on vacation, the state will know all about it. And if you stay 1 minute longer and you don't come back, men will be sent after you. Shit like this, the same philosophy, what I just tell you about the Russian military. You turn and run, your commanders shoot you. That's always been tradition in Russia. Same thing here. You're a citizen, you're working in Crimea, you made a life there because Vlad said it was okay to go live there, steal Ukrainian homes, and build a life and make it Russian. You know, like Adolf Hitler did the same type shit. And you flee? Well, they might kill you for that. Or they might send you back. Because you're not allowed to leave under a dictator. And that's what's happening here, too. They're building that as well. Because once they reveal this full righteous dictatorship, which they pretty much already have, but really reveal it for you people, there's not going to be freedom of travel. Because everyone will leave. And I told you, dictators don't want that, because then the dictator's standing there holding his dick with no one's life to ruin, no one to steal from, no one to exploit, no one to kill, no one to persecute, no one to make miserable for Satan. Simple. A woman in Russia's city of Irkutsk says that chaos has broken out, explains how the fuel crisis has shut down the city, and that her company will be destroyed because no basic functions can now occur. She begs the government to save her. Everybody turn into Vlad. He's the one who made it all happen. He can't help you. And he ain't in control no more, Zelensky is. Unless Vlad nukes somebody or whatever. Then you got fallout all in Russia as well. So again, here's another Russian woman. Her business to go under. No gas. Vlad ruined the whole country and stole all the money. What's she saying here? People were standing 8 hours in traffic jams. Can you imagine waiting 8 hours for gas? That'd fuck your day all up, wouldn't it? Okay, we're at the end. France just hit 43.8 C. That's 110 degrees. They ain't used to that in Europe, son. On Wednesday, making it the country's hottest day ever recorded. For perspective, that's hotter than Florida. Florida's all-time something. I can't see the rest of it. It's cut off. The commenter is saying these kinds, that's from AccuWeather, these kinds of numbers were expected in the 2050s. We're already here. Capital can't survive this. If we don't end its dominion over us soon, it will take us with it. There's no ending it. We're not going to stop all industrial activity and data centers and industry in this world. The greedy just want to make it bigger, son. So stopping it's just that there's no goddamn chance of that happening. It will only accelerate. Finally, the billionaires have caused the extinction of the human race. It's over. If we make it to the end of the climate thing, and by the end, I mean we make it to a point where we can't live anymore and we all die. If that's how we end, they could always, we could end by nuclear as well. One of these psychos, which I guarantee, a nuke will be shot. I can just tell by the way the world's going. So we might not even make it as far as to when the climate fully kills us all. That's coming soon, son. It ain't 40 years off. And yes, I heard this throughout my whole life. By 2100, by 2050, blah, 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 blah. Well, I've been following it closely for about 10 years. We passed the point of 2050. I've been hearing for 20, 30 years. If the temperature increases worldwide by 2 degrees, this happens. We've already surpassed that point. A long time ago. Yet they pretending that didn't happen yet. The scientists. It already goddamn happened. And yes, they spray in the sky trying to direct the sunlight back away from us. And that's also polluting the entire planet. And again, how do I know they're doing that? There's patents for the technology you can go find for yourself, and they have conventions. Scientists do. Lee Zeldin is all a part of that world, too. Always has been. Now he our goddamn nightmare. The world I'm talking about, denying the impacts of radiation on this planet because of nuclear power plants and nuclear tests and nuclear missiles and nuclear waste. Denying that chemtrailing is going on because that would get them all thrown in jail. They're polluting the whole planet. They have conventions. Mr. Zeldin has been at them, where scientists get together and they present these. Maybe in the future, we could spray particles into the atmosphere, aluminum, whatever, and we don't really know what that'll do, but we got some studies and we're gonna do it. And, oh, you have a question? You're saying we're doing it in the stratosphere? Well, we wouldn't do it in the stratosphere. We would do it in the troposphere or whatever. If we were going to do it in the future, like we're talking about right now. So you're wrong. We only want to try it in the future. We're not doing it right now. We promise. We only have conventions about it. They're doing it right now. I see it every day, and so do you. Cause the shit out of control, son. They desperate. And they've been ramping it up. I don't remember skies looking like this in the 80s when I was a kid. And it doesn't matter if I was in Jersey or down here by the equator. Same thing I see. Or in London. I see it there too. They desperate. It's planet-wide. And it ain't working. It traps more heat. It pollutes the entire planet. That aluminum is all throughout all of us now. Everything we eat, drink, in our bodies, killing bees. France had the hottest day ever recorded. It's getting worse. And it's getting exponentially worse, and the solutions they've deployed behind our fucking back make it even worse. That whole nuclear industry, the testing of nuclear weapons, the leaking of radiation, the dumping of toxic waste, the failure of nuke plants, that has all contributed to this as well. They lying about that too. And now that we're right about at the finish line, for man not even being able to live on this planet because of the climate, let's in the past 15 years build 80,000 data centers across the world to really accelerate the water shortages and waste, and droughts and desertification. And the heat output of the industry. These things kick off heat. They make heat zones. And then the electric consumption that humans need. We'll use it for data centers. Ramp up, I don't know, electric use and coal burning and all that by about 1,000%. All when we were this close to the climate absolutely failing us. Because of us. That close to the finish line of where we can't live here anymore. We'll all die. And that's when the oligarchy, in their infinite wisdom, in their attempts to make the beast system and enslave us all for all time, let's build 50,000 data centers across the world. Accelerate the drought, the heating up, and the exponentially larger use of electricity and coal burning and fossil fuels and all that. That is a recipe for the end, class. And that's where you're at the end. There's no other way to look at all the things I just told you and what I've been telling you for 10 years and what you're seeing with your own fucking eyes. It's over. Climately, socially, financially, in all aspects. This a new animal called Revelation, the Apocalypse, the Beast System. If wearables in conjunction with AI, surveillance in your car, digital ID, if all that doesn't convince you, you in it, son, and it's the story, I don't know what will. Maybe when they ask you that day, when they finally make everyone get in line and say, you're going to take your wearable, right? If you don't, we got to, take you somewhere. Will you realize then? Probably not. You probably just put it on, go right to hell. Because it says literally in Scripture, son, you're named. Anyone that takes the mark and worships the beast, automatically in the lake. There's no trade backs, take backsies, whatever. I was crossing my fingers. I said psych. Nope. You say yes and put it on, it's over. You're done. Why I've been yelling for 10 years, that's how dire it is. I know you don't know that yet. You will, don't worry. Numbers they were quoting for the 2050 science expected to try and delay panic. We've already got the 2050 numbers now. We don't have 40 years of climate left. If we have 10, I'll be surprised. We don't have 10 with the Antichrist. There is not 10 more years. We a couple years in already. So the good news is I don't think we'll see the climate make us extinct. Why? Because we'll already be extinct because of nuclear Armageddon. And Christ's coming back. It's over. And if there ain't a Jesus Christ, we sure as fuck need one. 'Cause, man, you step back and look at all this, all I see is plagues are coming, disease, because poorness, more heat, more stress, less food, just all the problems. More war because Donnie wants to take over the world. Vlad wants to take Europe and make the old Soviet Union. China wants Taiwan. Donnie bombing half the world. The Antichrist is alive. And the beast system about to be rolled out in about 5 fucking seconds. And Iran's a superpower, and Ukraine's a superpower now. There's only one remedy for that. In Vlad and Donnie's eyes, that'd be a nuclear missile. So don't worry. I think Armageddon will come before the climate actually wipes us off the face of the earth. And my personal gauge for that, I give the planet about 10 years of climate left, because it's going to get hotter every year exponentially. Food shortages will get worse starting this year because of this heat. What's killing crops right now across the world. And war will continue all over the world. Why? Because Donnie wants the world. That's why. So I see more plagues and more food contamination because it's ripe for it. More heat across the globe, more disease, more fungus, more germs, more everything. More algae. It's obvious it's going only one place, World War III. And if it wasn't World War III, well, the climate would kill us probably in about 10. And I'm not saying that, again, because I'm looking for, attention, glory, money, anything, or I want those things, or this is fun for me. No. I'm saying it because it's my honest assessment, and I don't want it to be. Because I know it means my doom as well. Means everyone's. It's so obvious where all this is going, my God. Good luck. God bless you. Whatever will help. Because we're fucked. Don't take the wearable, I mean the mark. It's going to have shit on it from Donnie's diaper. Just say no to the mark, to the wearable. Have a wonderful evening.